the Dodgers and the Giants. One of the best rivalries in baseball history, by the way. One of the best rivalries in history. Two of the oldest teams in the history of the game. And you know how many times they have faced each other in the postseason? You know how many games these teams have played each other in the postseason? Until tonight, 0. Tonight, game 1 that these two rivals have ever faced each other in the playoffs. The game was in San Francisco. The place was electric. San Francisco, the most beautiful ballpark in all of the land. It's on the water. You got the air horn going. Buster Posey hits a moon shot early to right field. The Giants end up winning this game 4-0. I tweeted this, by the way. Buster Posey and Brandon Crawford hit a home run in this game. What year is this? Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford. Is it 2012 all over again? The place was going nuts. Buster Posey's home run, by the way, was crushed to right field. It hits off one of those stacks, I guess. I don't even know what you call it. It's like a little column out there. So you have the right field wall. You have those stacks out there that the water shoots out of. Buster Posey hits one off of that. McCovey Cove is not too far past that, might I add. And that leads me to one of my favorite stats. One of my most favorite fun facts in all of baseball. A right-handed hitter, in all of the years that AT&T, Pac Bell, Oracle, whatever you want to call it, it's a beautiful ballpark. In all of the years that this park has been around, not one single right-handed hitter has hit a home run into McCovey Cove. Not one that lands in McCovey Cove. Not one. And Buster Posey, tonight, in the biggest game in San Francisco in years against their hated rival, who everyone's saying they're the better team, you're going to lose, it's the Dodgers. They come out and make a statement, and Buster Posey almost hits the first ever right-handed home run ball into McCovey Cove in right field. How cool is that? Look at this tweet from MLB Stats. Buster Posey is the first Giants batter to hit a postseason home run in a 3-0 count since pitch data has been available. Pitch data has been available for a long time. Contrast that to what Walker Buehler said earlier, also a friend of the pod. He said, yeah, you know, the walk is a tool of mine in the postseason. The walk becomes a tool of mine. If I go down 3-0, the walk becomes a tool so that I'm not giving up postseason home runs. So the irony in this is that he throws him a heater 3-0 right down the middle, and the guy hits a home run, which is the first Giants home run on a 3-0 count in their postseason history. That's nuts. This was a statement game for the Giants as well. We talk about statement games with the Red Sox. This was a statement game. They come out against the Los Angeles Dodgers, the favorite to win it all. The Dodgers are the favorite to win the World Series, even when they have to play in a sudden death, do-or-die playoff game, because they're the Los Angeles Dodgers. On paper, they're the best team. They spend the most money. They have the best players. The Giants ain't having none of it, and neither am I. I picked the Giants to win this series. The Giants are slept on. The Giants don't get the love they deserve. I even tweeted out this early in the game. I said I'm glad the Giants are doing this on a national stage so everyone, the world, can see just how good they are, just why they are so good. This is why. Logan Webb had a dominant start. Absolutely dominant. Pitches into the 8th inning. They end up winning the ball game 4-0. The offense hits a couple bombs. They shut you down. They play great defense. This is the San Francisco Giants. Great pitching, timely hitting, great defense. What more can you want? That's a recipe for success. Speaking of that starting pitcher, Logan Webb, let's talk about my player of the game from this game. And my player of the game for me was a no-brainer, and it is Logan Webb. He pitches into the 8th inning of the ball game tonight, 7 2/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, 10 punch-outs. In a postseason game, at home, all fired up against the Dodgers, 10 punch-outs and 7 2/3 innings. This guy kept his pitch count down I thought he was going to throw a complete game at one point. I really did. I think he could have. Kapler comes out to a couple boos in the stadium at first, by the way. They wanted him to stay in. But he takes him out. He gets the out. Everybody's happy. Standing ovation for Webb coming off the field. They end up winning it easily in the ninth. 4-0 ball game. Giants win. Commanding 1-0 lead in this series. But before we move on to the fan questions, let me make this point. I said it earlier. All you have to do as the road team, as the lower seed in a 5-game series, is win that second game. Is win one of the first 2 games. That's all you have to do. That's all you want to do. That's the goal. Win one of those first 2. Then you go home with all the momentum in the world. So tomorrow is a huge, huge, huge game. Giants got to come out. I'm sure they'll be ready. It'll be a very, very exciting game. Kevin Gausman on the mound for the Giants. Julio Urias on the mound for the Dodgers. So let's get to some of your fan questions from this game. Let's see. First one from Sav23. Ben Verlander, 163 games now, and people are still in shock of this team? SMH. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like, the only people that are really still in shock are the people that don't watch the Giants. They just kind of follow baseball. They see the standings all year long. They see that they stayed ahead of the Dodgers, and they're like, yeah, the Dodgers are the better team, though. But they haven't been watching them. There's so many reasons that this team is dominant. We just had Mike Yastrzemski on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He talked all about it. He talked about the meaning of Gabe Kapler being at the helm, being the new manager of this team, what he's meant to the team. Just how important it is. Just how much he lets the guys be the guys. He puts them in a position to win. They won 107 times, a franchise record. In a year they were expected to win 75.5 games. And people still think that people still undersell this team. People still don't give them the credit they deserve. So thank you for that question. They really should. They deserve more credit. And they're going to get it. They're going to get it. Just watch this series. Next question comes from Nathan. Ben Verlander, the Dodgers really going to lose to the ghosts of Buster Posey and Brandon Crawford? That's my thought watching this series. I love every second of this series because this year has been the resurgence of Buster Posey, who sat out last year when the players had the option to sit out because of COVID. Buster Posey, with a young family, sits out, takes the year off. He comes back and has a career year as a catcher, as an older veteran catcher. Comes back and has a career year. Brandon Crawford having one of the best years of his career. And now they're doing it in the postseason. For me, this one's really cool. This Giants team has been the cause of a lot of pain in my life. They beat the Tigers and my brother's team in the World Series. And, you know, these two guys you ask about, Nathan, were a big part of that. Back then, Buster Posey and Brandon Crawford. And now they're producing on still the biggest stage, but just way later in their career. It's awesome to see. The place was electric. I loved those two guys being the ones that made a big difference in this game tonight. Because when you think of the San Francisco Giants, you think of Buster Posey and you think of Brandon Crawford. And they're getting it done in the playoffs. Thank you, Nathan, for that question. Let's get to the next one. This one comes from Fox Matthew. Not a question, more of an epiphany. If baseball is as truly a beautiful game as we all know it would be, the Giants will win the World Series in Fenway Park with Mike Yastrzemski on the field. How cool would that be? That'd be really cool. You know, I got to talk, as I just mentioned, to Mike Yastrzemski a couple weeks ago, and we talked about the relationship with his grandfather, Carl Yastrzemski, and just how good it is. Early on in his career, his rookie year, Mike got to be on the field at Fenway Park against the Red Sox, and him and his grandpa did the first pitch together. They, one threw it to the other, and it was a really emotional moment. It was really cool. It gave me the goosebumps. That's not saying much. I get the goosebumps at a lot of baseball moments. I'm a sap. I'm romantic about this game. So, sue me. But how cool would that be? It's not out of the realm of possibility, by the way. I think more so the Giants have a chance. I don't think the Red Sox will be able to get there. But look, we don't need to get too in the weeds about this one. You're right. Baseball has proven time and time again to be a romantic game. It's hard not to be romantic about baseball because stuff like this happens. Stuff like this. Stuff like the Field of Dreams, a walk-off into the cornfield of Tim Anderson. He's trotting home and fireworks are going off in the background. Cool things consistently find a way to happen in the game of baseball, and that would be one of those cool things.